Please, please stop.
I don't even know what I did wrong for you to say stop. I'm just trying to express myself.
Hey guys, it's your girl Tony, and I'm back with the tea on Tiana Talks. This past episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta was giving filler, but at the end we did get some insight on Porsha and Shamea. So let's dive into it. Like the video, subscribe. Now here we go. Now, our first scene, we see Charles and Angela on a little lunch date. They're pretty cute, enjoying themselves. And a lot of people don't think that Charles and Angela really like each other or that he doesn't like her. But to me, he does, because in this scene, he jokes with her a lot. Like, he'll play, like, she'll be like, give me a kiss. And he's like, why do you need a kiss? Even the producers, they ask, Charles, do you love Angela? And he's like hesitant to even answer. And I know to a lot of people it may seem like, oh no, like Angela run for the hills. But I know a few men like Charles, and they do love their wives. They just, for some reason, like to be a jokester. And, me personally, I wouldn't like that type of dude. But for some people, it does work for them. But anywho, Angela's like, Charles, you better have my back. Like, listen here, I'm going to talk with my sister, and production bleeps her name. And at this point, I've kind of figured that Angela and her sister must have fallen out really bad, to the point where now she can't say her own sister's name on the show because her sister has decided, I don't want anything to do with the show now. So basically, Angela's asking Charles on advice about the sister. She's like, how can I, fix things because I don't like the disrespect, and I don't want to condone it. And Charles is like, I've been in a similar situation where you're taking care of someone and they're like being disrespectful, but the best way to handle it is to just move forward without them. And Angela's like, well, how do I do that? Because that's my sister. And Charles is like, it's simple. Y'all know Charles does not play, okay? I don't even know. It's like Angela gets some more confidence from Charles because Charles does not play. And maybe that's why they get along so well, because Angela is very nice and forgiving. But Charles, on the other hand, does not play. He puts his foot down. So I think he's the reason why Angela has some of the spice that we really like on the show. So next up, we have Cynthia and Shamea sitting down, and Cynthia wanted to get together with Shamea to, show her some love and give her a little hug, because she felt bad for her after the whole Pampered by Porsha event. If y'all remember in the last episode, watch my last recap, Porsha and Shamea they went back and forth a little bit. Not real bad, but they went back and forth a little bit in front of the ladies. And Shamea's just like, I feel pretty hurt. I feel like, Porsha just threw me under the bus, and, I had no idea what I was walking into. Like, she felt ambushed. And Cynthia's like, I'm really sorry. I just hate when things like this happen. I've been in a similar situation before with a friend. And then in her confessional, Cynthia's saying how, she had been in that same predicament with Nene Leakes. And I'm kind of shocked because y'all remember for a long time, Bravo, Andy, Housewives, they would not mention Nene at all. So the fact that Nene's name is being mentioned now, it's like, I guess things are really getting more and more friendly between Nene and the network. So that's a good thing for Nene, because truthfully, her on Housewives was really when the show was at its prime, okay? But anyway, Cynthia just tries to give Shamea some positive encouragement and just showing her some affection. So that's very sweet. One thing about Cynthia on the show, she's very light and she does try to be pretty positive, but at the same time, sometimes we would like Cynthia to be more realistic at times and, kind of stand up and speak the truth on some things. Kind of like how she did at King's event. She was quick to say, she didn't agree with King's actions. And Shamea starts doing what she's doing best. She's, crying, getting out her handkerchief. She's going to be Candace 2.0. She just can't fold it up in a triangle. And she's just like, I never spoke about Porsha with Angela. I wouldn't do that. Well, you did, Shamea. You actually did. So let's not say you wouldn't, because you did. You did it with Drew and Angela. And that's why they brought it up, okay? I don't understand why Shamea does this thing where she plays victim a bit too much. Now, do I feel like Porsha has been a bad friend to her? Absolutely. Watch my old videos. Matter of fact, watch my first video. But needless to say, that doesn't mean that Shamea is completely innocent either. So next up, we have Cynthia, Porsha, and Angela meeting up to bowl. I thought that was pretty cute and fun, just simple bowling. And Cynthia's like, "Oh, Porsha, like, your body in this one piece is just, ooh, like that booty." And Cynthia's like, "Have you guys seen Portia's butt? It's just can't be contained." Like, okay, Cynthia, we all know that Porsha has a butt. She's had a butt for the past 15, I'm sorry, I don't even know how many seasons she's been on. She's been on since season 5. Porsha has had body forever. Now, love her or hate her, no one can take away that Porsha has a nice body. But let's move on, Cynthia. Can we talk about other things, that people want to talk about? I'm just being real. But anywho, she says that, both Angela and Porsha have those bodies, and she's going to be hard for her to focus because she's going to be too distracted by those bodies. And I agree, though, Angela's body is like, whew. Angela, to me, in my opinion, Angela has like one of the best shapes on the show between her and Porsha. If I had to pick one, I think I would pick Angela's because Angela has that more athletic build that just gives like, oh yeah, I'm in shape. But Porsha, it gives you naturally have a shape, but you have to do a lot of lipo to maintain it because let's be for real, Porsha eats bad and she doesn't work out. But either way, both of these ladies are very attractive. And speaking of bodies, Angela says that she needs like the little bumper lanes to help her bowl. And Porsha makes a joke again about how big Angela is. She's like, "Girl, you're too big. You don't need bumpers. You just need to lay one of your arms down and bowl with the other one." And you can tell Porsha thought that was like so funny because she's like making a face in her confessional before she laughs. But she makes like this stupid stuck face like that was such a gag. And it's like, girl, hello. Angela looks great in case you haven't noticed. What's wrong with the woman being a tall, sexy stallion? I mean really. Her and Porsha are actually built very similar. The only difference is Angela's more athletic and you can tell she's had less body work done than Porsha, but other than that, they both have nice shapes, so I don't really get it. They're both taller women. I think Angela's a bit taller. Maybe that's why Porsha ran out of the pool area when Angela went downstairs to confront her. But overall, I mean, both these women are great looking. Porsha, stop making fun of Angela and how big she is. Okay, stop. So Cynthia and the girls are sitting down to eat after they just bowled, and Cynthia's always hungry. I think I spoke about this in a previous recap, but Cynthia has been eating a lot lately. If she were younger, I would have thought she were pregnant the way she's going. But hey, I don't blame her. I'd be eating too if I was on these shows. You can tell Cynthia really missed filming because the way she keeps enjoying these events and the free food. I don't blame you, Cynthia. But anywho, Cynthia asks Porsha, how's PJ, Porsha's daughter? And Porsha's like, well, she's been pretty sad. She misses her papa, a.k.a. Simon. Now, first off, Porsha, why on earth is Pilar even calling Simon papa? She has a father. Her father's not in jail. He's very present in her life. He takes good care of her. He's not a thug. He's not in... There's no reason why you were even substituting her father with Simon. Second of all, you didn't even know Simon that well. You guys were married for only 1 year, and even before that, when you guys got engaged, you said you got engaged in 2 weeks. So there was no reason for you to be having your daughter so attached to someone that you didn't even know that long. And the way you got him on top of that. But anywho, she's over there like doing the whole pity party thing again with this whole divorce, and she's saying how Simon just hasn't been reaching out and talking to her daughter anymore and this and that and how hurtful it is. And I'm like, did you forget that when you got with his last wife that he stopped talking to her kids as well, and that wasn't a red flag to you? Mind you, him and Fallon were married longer than Porsha and Simon, so I don't even understand it. But overall, guys, it's hard for me to have sympathy for Porsha in situations like this. But they also ask her about Shamea, and she's like, I'm just going through so much right now. I'm just so fragile. I just can't even deal with this. I'm too delicate right now. And I'm like, girl, this whole thing is just. Porsha is a perpetual victim. She's so good at it. I don't know when she became so great at manipulation, but her manipulation tactics have just, she's like dang near expert level at this point, between the men she finesses, her friendships, the way people view her. I mean, I don't know what manipulation school she's went to, but Portia's got a PhD in it, okay? So next up, we have Drew in the car, and she's talking to her mom on FaceTime, and she's speaking about this whole divorce process in court with Ralph. She's saying that Ralph is just trying to basically take everything and her money. He's trying to get rid of her lawyer on the case. And Drew's mom is like, oh, well, I don't understand why he would do this, and he's not paying anything. He's not paying any child support. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like Ralph can be an a-hole, but I also feel like Drew isn't innocent either, and I think she likes to play. Drew, if Ralph is not paying child support, that's because he's paying for everything in the house. Court records actually show, and I've seen with my own eyes, Ralph is paying the mortgage for the home, as well as all of the bills and different little extra add-ons with all that. So when it comes to Drew's cost of living, Drew isn't paying anything. You stay in the home for free. You have access to the whole house. Ralph is in the basement. You don't have to worry about a light bill, water bill, gas bill, electricity bill. You're not paying nothing. The only thing you pay for is more than likely the kids' sports. Like you have your oldest child that you had with another man, and he's probably giving her financial support. But even if he's not, Drew makes a lot of money on the show. So you having to pay for kids' sports, girl, I do that. And I'm not on a 6-figure reality show, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Drew, you make good money on Real Housewives of Atlanta. You have plenty of jobs acting. You're also into music now. You get different sponsorships, ads. Drew, you can cover little things for the kids, like buying them lunch or, different sports they want to play. That's not as expensive as paying a mortgage and bills. I don't understand Drew. But next up, we get Angela and her mom. And I have to say, Angela's mom is beautiful. I wasn't expecting her to look so youthful. But this just proves that for people who are saying that Angela is older than 60, she's like, all of you don't believe that she's, how old, 43 or 44? She is 44. Look at her mother. Her mother looks amazing. Her mother can't be no older than like 60 something. So Angela is definitely not 60, and I'm sick of Shamea and Porsha making fun of her for her age when they are all the same age. They are all in their 40s, and guess what, ladies? Newsflash, you are all perimenopausal, so Porsha and Shamea, stop making fun of Angela having hot flashes. But anywho, they're meeting up, and Angela's basically, sweetly letting her mom know, like, hey, I'm a bit hurt that, you didn't really stand up for me when it came to my sister, and her talking it down to my daughter, Mari. And she's also feeling away, with her mom, like, moving out of the home that she bought her. I guess Angela's mom got her own home, and she's like, I just want to be independent, self-reliant. I don't want to have to rely on you. You already have enough on your plate. And I agree, Angela. You take the home that you bought her. You said you bought it for almost $500,000. Just go ahead, take that money, and sell the home, flip it. Maybe you can even give it to your daughter if you think she's ready or deserves one at this age. I don't know, but if I were Angela, go ahead, let them get their independence. Don't be sad about it. But also, Angela brings up how her mother and Charles don't get along and they don't talk anymore. And Angela's mom is willing to, speak to Charles or write a letter to, let him know that she's sorry about their mishap. But the reason it happened is because she was defending Angela. Apparently, Charles had said something that was pretty rude to Angela, and we still don't really understand what it was. But apparently, Charles was kind of rude to Angela about something about cleaning up or not cleaning. And I guess her mom just was not feeling it and she let him have it that day. And she went in on him, according to all of them. So I understand Angela's mom defending her daughter. I think I would be the same way. I have a daughter and I'm very protective over her, and I wouldn't want anyone to be rude to them. So earlier I was saying I do feel like Charles has this attitude where he can be kind of like playfully rude to Angela, but it works for them. But apparently it's turning off the people around them. So I think that he needs to be more mindful and respectful. It's one thing to play with Angela like that if she's okay with it and enjoys it. But if other people aren't really fond of it, maybe you should kind of consider like, okay, I'll not joke with them or around them because they don't like it. It makes them uncomfortable. Right after that, we have Kelly and her daughter, her oldest daughter, and I just think they're so cute together. Kelly's a great mom, and they're doing driving lessons together. And Kelly is having like mini panic attacks with her daughter driving. She's just super concerned, and I don't think I can blame her because Atlanta traffic is scary, and then to put a teenager on it is probably even scarier. And the poor dog is sitting on Kelly's lap. He or she is probably just super afraid. But anywho, Kelly is letting her daughter know, like, hey, I want you to start doing job interviews with me to help when it comes to picking out new, like, employees for the workspace. And I'm just like, yes, Kelly, like what she's doing is teaching her daughter the early ropes of, being an entrepreneur, CEO, boss, employer. And I'm super proud of Kelly, and I don't really know her, of course, but it's amazing to see a Black woman run a successful business for her daughters. So now we have Drew and her mom sitting down together. Drew's mom decided to fly down to support Drew because she felt like Drew needed her. And Drew's mom is letting Drew know, like, hey, with this divorce going on, I feel like these kids are not being considered with the whole everything, because their behavior is being reflected by the court's decisions. And I'm assuming she means like them all living together and not having conversations on what's going on between the marriage. And Drew breaks down because her mom is saying that the kids' behavior has changed very much in a negative way, to the point where the kids don't even listen to the grandmother. And we already know they weren't really listening to Drew, because remember in a previous episode, not this one, but I believe the one right before it, they wouldn't listen to Drew when she was trying to give them simple orders. And I feel bad for them. I definitely feel bad. Divorce is hard, especially when there's children involved. So I just really hope that the courts, Ralph and Drew, can really figure things out in a peaceful manner so that these kids cannot be further traumatized and affected by it all. I genuinely, sincerely mean that. And let's all just keep them in positive thoughts. Side note, I noticed that Drew's chef went to console Drew's mom because she got emotional because Drew was so emotional about, the kids' behavior changing. And I'm like, why does Drew need a chef? I literally remember Drew saying that Ralph has way more money than her and she needs help financially. And I've been even seeing things about Drew's money being tight, court documents, etc. And I don't understand why Drew has a chef, especially when in previous seasons, Drew had been having a lot of different things going on with her not paying her chefs to, work for her, and nannies and different things like that. Drew, stop with the chef stuff, honey. If you continue down this road, you're going to be broke just like Kim Bierman. Y'all remember Kim had all those chefs and nannies and assistants, and where are her and Croy now? House in foreclosure. So, Drew, stop the theatrics, okay? I'm not Porsha, I know what I meant. Stop it, Drew, okay? Because you don't need a chef. It's you and your children, unless you're cooking for Ralph too. Y'all don't need no chef. If you don't go down to Publix in aisle 5 and grab a box of Hamburger Helper and a pack of ground beef, or if you don't go ahead and get a pack of ground beef and some Prego spaghetti sauce, okay? And if you want to be fancy, grab an onion and some bell peppers, But what you won't do is waste all your housewife's check to look like a housewife. Stop it, baby. Stop. So next and finally, we get our last scene of the show, and it's the sit down of Shamea and Porsha. Porsha gets to the restaurant first, and that's surprising because y'all know she's normally late. But Porsha looks amazing, okay? Mama looks great. She has on this pretty dress. It's like white, a little flowy, but it shows her shape, of course. Porsha looks great. Hair is laid. I have to give her props, okay? Shamea, on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know what exactly is going on here. She has like her butt out in this like lace jean with literally her butt cheeks out. And I'm like, girl, no. She has the back out. It just didn't look good on her. I don't know who it look good on, but it definitely didn't look good on her. The Elvis hair, the Chanel earring. I just, you have all this money. You talk about how nice your home is, Shamea, and it is nice. You're a beautiful girl. Why the clothes? Why? So they sit down, and Portia's like, how are you? And Shamea's like, how are you? How was your weekend? They're like playing like nothing's going on. And you can tell Shamea is over it. She doesn't want to act like nothing's wrong. And Portia's like, Porsha knows what she's doing. You can just see it all in their face. At least for me, I'm an empath. I know what I see and I know what I feel. But Portia's mom calls her on FaceTime, and Porsha answers, and Portia's like, I'm going to call you right back, right before her mom can say anything. And I guess her mom makes a face, and she's like not really feeling it, and Porsha says that. And Shamea's like, okay. You can tell that Porsha like hurried up and told her mom like, I'll call you right back, so her mom wouldn't say anything like, oh, did you meet up with her yet? I have a feeling that these two talk about Shamea way more than what we saw this season on camera. So Portia's like, let's just talk because I can tell your energy is reserved. And Shamea's like, yeah, well, I apologize first off because I have been holding back some things over the years, some things that have hurt me, and I just had kind of, muted it for a while because I care about our relationship and I treat it with a lot of care. And Portia's just nodding like very nonchalant, and I'm like, this is not gonna go well. Shamea says that she didn't need the ladies to tell her or Porsha on how she felt about their friendship. And Portia's like, well, this only came up because you had already discussed it with them instead of me. And Shamea cuts off Porsha. Shamea's coming in strong this argument. I'm not going to lie. Like, Shamea, I don't know if some switch went off in your head, like now's the time to get activated, but it must have, because she's like, oh, well, the difference between you and I is that I don't make a big deal, or the thing that bothers me. But when you spoke over my music, when you cut me off when I'm speaking, when you make little posts, when you do petty things, I don't even say anything. And I'm just like, well, girl, maybe you should, because now you're like blowing up. It's coming off like you're like a little volcano that just erupted, and Porsha is still sitting there calm. Like, this is when you let someone get something over you because you bottled it up for so long. Now you're exploding, and now Porsha looks like the victim. So Porsha does like a deep sigh, like she's just so exhausted from the conversation. And Shamea's like, oh, you're yawning. Am I boring you? And I'm like, ooh, now she's finally clocking Porsha's like sarcastic, nonchalant acts that she does where she's like quiet, but she'll like make faces and huff. And I'm like, oh, Shamea's finally clocking it. But maybe Shamea's so used to Porsha doing it to other people, and now Porsha's doing it to her. She's like, oh, I know what you're doing. Stop right now. We're supposed to laugh together. You're not supposed to laugh at me. But Porsha gets in her confessional. She's like, I'm just really surprised about this. I'm caught off guard. Shamea's bringing up things that happened years ago. I thought we moved past it. But Shamea, on the other hand, is saying, I can't believe that Porsha is believing things from these ladies without even talking to me first. I can see both ends, guys. I really can. One thing I'm missing, though, on Porsha's end is that Shamea is basically letting you know it's everything. It's not just you not coming to the wedding 10 years ago. It's everything. It's the way you spoke over her music. You didn't really support. She's saying that you make posts. There's more to the story. And on top of that, what we're missing here is there's a lot of things that are happening off camera that we're not seeing it happen on camera or being brought up, because these two have this secret thing where, oh, there's certain things that we're not going to discuss on camera. So Shamia is saying, basically I'm trying to have this dinner with you so we can possibly just, work on things and fix our relationship. And Portia's like, oh, possibly? Like, are we on the edge? And she's like laughing. And she's not really matching Shamia's energy. Like, Shamia is coming to her very sincere. She's like, hey, my feelings are hurt. I want to address some things with you. And Portia's like not really trying to go there with Shamia. She's like, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm trying to have a productive conversation. And Shamia is like, well, Shamia has her guard up. She's clocking Porsha on how she's very dismissive and how she's like making these little faces and nonverbal communication, basically being shady. And then she tells Porsha, I don't like how you'll say things like, your mom said that she doesn't trust me, and, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, talking about her mom, because apparently Porsha's mom fell out with her mom a while ago. And that's the reason why they're not cool anymore, because basically something Shamia's mom did, and basically Portia's mom is saying don't trust Shamia because she's probably going to be like her mom. And Portia's like, oh, well, I didn't say that. I said that. I said that my mom said that. Now, let me just stop right there. Portia's basically telling Shamia that to basically keep giving her hints like, okay, we really don't like you like that. We don't really trust you like that. And I'm giving you little heads up and signs like, yeah, or maybe even excuses on why our friendship is just not going to work. And Shamia is so ditzy. First of all, if anyone tells you something like that, oh, well, my mom said I shouldn't trust you because your mom did her dirty. That is clearly them saying they don't really like you like that. They don't want to F with you like that. Because if they did, they wouldn't give a dang about what their parent or family member has to say. They wouldn't even bring it up because they wouldn't want to hurt your feelings. Shamia, get that head out of Portia's behind. I know it's big. You probably need a GPS to find your way out. But get the GPS on Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze. Do something. Get out of there because you look stupid. So Portia's telling Shamia, you just want to argue. You're just trying to argue with me. And Shamia's like, no, I want you to just be real. Like the same way we're off camera, I want you to be the way we are off camera, on camera. Why can't we be the same way? I asked you, why can't we act that way that we act off camera as in on camera? And you told me that they would have to pay you more. They don't pay you enough for that. Girl, what? I know Porsha, the highest paid peach on the cast right now, is not holding back on Bravo's dime because she wants more money. Girl, stop. So Portia's like, this is scary. This is scary. I can't believe you would let you're on the show, and now you want to let that make you have an argument with me. And Shamia's like, no, I can't believe that you're on the show and you're not acting like how you would normally act off camera with me. Like, you're normally not like this. I don't like this. And what I'm getting from these two is insane, okay? These two are acting. Now, I'm not going to say they're acting together. I think they're finally acting apart, but for their own reasons, okay? There's a lot of things in Portia's life that she does not want discussed on camera, okay? There's a reason she's been spazzing out about her baby daddy, Dennis, filming with Drew. She said a bunch of times that she does not want Dennis having the platform to film without her. She doesn't want Dennis to slip up and say something that she doesn't want not seen on TV. And it's the same thing with Shamea. Shamea has said before, with her being a friend on the show, basically Porsha censored what can be discussed. And if you go back to Portia's Family Matters, Porsha had a thing where she was telling her family members what they're allowed to talk about and what not to talk about that had happened on a show with that whole fight between Porsha and Dennis' mom, okay? Porsha has this sick knit for like controlling the narrative and controlling people and what can be said. It's very gross. I don't know who she thinks she is, but she's like a puppet master in her hand. And also, Shamea's no angel. Shamea knows that this is how Porsha is. She's been fine with it because she was benefiting off of it. She was fine with it because she still got to be in Porsha's circle, still got to be Porsha's best friend, still get to have scenes on Housewives. Now that Shamea has her peach, she doesn't have to play by Porsha's rule book anymore. So these two aren't fooling me, not one bit. And when Shamea said, oh, well, you said that we can't act the way we normally act because they're not paying you enough, they would have to pay you more. Shamea is throwing Porsha completely under the bus, okay? And Portia's saying, oh, it's scary how, you're acting and you're trying to fight with me for the camera, for the show. What Porsha is really saying is, oh, I can't believe that you're finally not kissing my blank no more. I can't believe you're not following my rules anymore. And Portia's about to spaz out at any moment because this is the calm before the storm. And we all know Porsha is a ticking bomb. And Shamea knows it too. Shamea is baiting Porsha. That's why Porsha keeps saying, you just want an argument. Porsha's literally chuckling because the psycho in her knows. It's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Shamea knows what she's doing. These two are playing mind games. And Shamea keeps saying that she wants the Porsha that's her friend that's off camera. And she's saying it's sad that you put a dollar amount to you saying like, oh yeah, in order for you to confess like, your friendship and loyalty to me, like it would have to be more money involved. And I'm just like, ooh, like the fact that your friend even told you that and it's just like you're still fighting for it, that's kind of like whack. But at the same time, that was you throwing her under the bus. Porsha's like, oh, Shamea, just stop. Like, stop, this is too much for me. And then she's like pretending like she's about to cry, but no tears come out again. Porsha has been doing this the whole season where she's about to cry, but nothing comes out of her eyes. I want Dennis or some African that she's laid up with to buy her a bottle of tears, okay? Please buy Porsha some tears because she just can't make any. And Porsha storms off into the restroom and leaves Shamea, and Shamea's just looking confused like, what just happened? So Porsha comes back to the table after she storms off and she's like, are you ready to get our food to go? And Shamea's like, sure, I guess. So Porsha calls down the waiter and she's like, can you pick up our food? We'll take it to go. And I'm not gonna lie, that food looked really good. I did attach the restaurant in there. I attached like the little name of it. That food looked delicious. And Shamea's like, well, it's sad that, we couldn't continue our conversation, but, I'll just continue to pray for us. And Portia's like, oh, well, you weren't talking anymore, so I figured, like, I didn't really see anything, like, I guess you were ready to go. And Shamea catches it. She's like, no, this is not your get out of jail card. You walked up from the table. So, I mean, how can I read your mind? You're the one that said stop, and I didn't see what I had done wrong. And Portia's like, I'm just human, I'm just human. I have a lot going on, I'm just human. And Shamea's like, yeah, I understand that. And we both have a lot going on. We all do. There's a lot going on in everyone's lives. And you should have seen Portia's face. Like, she almost stopped the victim role for a second. Her face shifted. I put it like, you're literally looking at it right now. That was the exact face she made. It was like, girl, how dare you? I'm the one that's going through a lot. You're the one that's happily married and have a rich husband. You're the one who's not going through what I'm going through. That's what I got from Porsha. Now, Porsha, did you forget that Shamea has a daughter with health issues? She's dealing with fertility issues. She may have a great husband, but still, I'm pretty sure she has regular marital problems like everyone else, Shamea has a lot on her plate too, and it just sucks that Porsha would even not have the capacity to be sincere and just sympathetic for others. You can tell that she struggles with that. She's treated like a princess when it comes to her mom and her sister and her baby daddy, and she thinks the world revolves around herself. Like, everything's about Porsha in Portia's eyes. So while Shamea is talking, Portia randomly just grabs the knives and forks and she's like moving them out of the way. And she did it so like quickly. It was almost like kind of weird because even Shamea looked down. It was kind of creepy. Like she just quickly grabbed the knife, but then she grabbed the forks and then she moved it to the like side of her. And on one hand, at first, I was thinking that Portia did that to be like kind of goofy. I was thinking maybe she's just like trying to be silly, like trying to get Shami's attention. Like, look, I'm moving the knives out of the way so we won't hurt each other. Haha. But then I realized that neither one of them smiled. And it looked like Portia was like regaining composure of herself. And even Shamea looked very caught off guard. It just wasn't funny. And I'm like, did Portia move that in case things got physical between them? Because we all know Portia is known to throw stuff at people and fight. Y'all remember on her spinoff show, she was throwing plates, glass plates at Dennis and his mom. So I was kind of a bit turned off with Portia grabbing the knife so quick. I don't know. It just didn't seem right. And I'm just being real. Portia doesn't really seem like herself. The old Portia, she's always been a little ditzy. Not the sharpest, pencil in the pencil case, but Portia now seems very manipulative, very nasty, very cold, very much demonic, if I'm being very honest with you. And what I got from that wasn't good. I feel like she was so pissed at Shamea in that moment. She moved those knives and silverware out of the way just to remind herself not to do anything quick. I really deeply believe that. Portia was pissed that Shamea threw her under the bus. Portia is used to everyone being her pawn, and she didn't expect Shamea to start playing chess back. So then she says to Shamea in this like creepy, sultry voice, like, what can I do? Like, what do I need to do? I don't want to break up with you. And I'm like, what the helly? Girl, what? Like, you switch personalities like people change underwear. That was creepy. You literally went from being the victim to being upset, calling her out for trying to argue on camera, going to the bathroom crying, being dismissive. Now you're like in a fake voice, like, what can I do to fix this? Like, I don't want to break up with you. Like, I'm so hurt right now. Like, I'm so confused. I don't know what personality disorder Portia has, but I think she has one. I don't even want to say I think. Allegedly, she has one. It's just getting creepy. But somehow that works. She grabs Shamea's hands. She's like, I want you to touch my hand. I want you to hold my hand. Guys, I'm not a big religious person, but I am spiritual. And let me tell you something. Energy transfers are real. Shamea, don't grab that lady's hand, okay? Energy transfers are real. Next thing you know, Shamea's holding back tears and Portia's like has this little smirk in her eye like, I got her now. The demon won in Portia. I'm sorry, I have to say it. And honestly, Shamea, you played yourself. You came in there thinking that you were going to expose Portia. You thought that Portia was going to act like how she normally acts, but instead, she manipulated you again, and she got the upper hand again. And these two hug, and Portia's like, wow, like, that butt looks amazing. Talking about Shamea's butt looking amazing. It didn't look good in those jeans. Shamea has a nice butt, but it didn't look good in those jeans. And then Shamea's like, yeah, I even got it out for you. Like, I'm letting it hang out for you. Like, she's referring to how it's through, like, cutouts of her butt cheeks in the jeans. And Portia grabs her butt. And I'm just like, yeah. Back to what I said in my last video. You can't tell me that these two don't munch on each other, if you know what I'm saying. They give me the vibes that they do a lot of scissoring and licking, if you know what I mean, okay? Gotta be, because there's no way Shamea is this pressed to keep trying to force a relationship with someone who has made it very clear that they don't want the friendship. And even the way Porsha and Shamea hugged each other, you could see in Porsha's face that she didn't care about that damn hug. Porsha's not going to forget this moment, and she's going to light Shamea up when the opportunity comes around. And even in the confessional, Porsha says, "Oh, I've never tried so hard or begged so hard to stop a tornado and stop like an argument from happening." Porsha's already made herself the victim, and she's made Shamea the bad guy. Shamea, you better buckle up for this reunion. You better buckle up for the next few days. Porsha is not going to let up off you. And we just saw that she literally tagged Shamea in a post, and she was going off on Shamea about this same episode. Watch my previous video if you haven't watched it yet. But Porsha went off on Instagram at Shamea because Shamea mentioned the whole thing with Porsha's mom not liking Shamea because of their personal beef, okay? Now listen, Shamea, you don't know what you're dealing with. You're over here trying to play chess with a manipulative queen piece. You just upgraded from a pawn. You might be a knight now, okay? But you are no match for Porsha when it comes to deception, acting, manipulation, and mostly just being on this screen in the Real Housewives game. Porsha has a lot of years of experience over you, and she knows how to flip things. So good luck, Shamea. Okay? Y'all get in the comments. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. I don't really see a victim in neither party, but I do feel like the expert in manipulation right now is Shamea. But because these two are so close, Shamea has learned a thing or two from Porsha. So right now, they're just trying to trick each other. But trust me, things are going to blow up worse. I know it. Y'all subscribe, like the video, and let me know what you think. Get down in these comments, guys. I will respond, but keep it respectful because I don't like to argue. You know, this is a show after all. We're releasing our opinions and views and feelings, but don't be nasty. All right, guys, y'all be safe and enjoy your day. Peace.